guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today I am gonna basically be telling you my best tips for A-levels, things that I did, things that I wish I did, because I know A-levels are literally starting May the 15th at 9 AM. Same with GCSE exams. So I thought that I'd try and make this video and get it up before they start. I know it's quite soon to the exams now, so I'm going to be telling you what I did when it was this time period before the exams started. So A-levels, I did biology, history and art, and I made many study videos working up to those exams. Also, when it was like the night before an exam, I didn't film any of it because I was stressed. Some things that I found the most useful, obviously they don't work for everybody, but this is kind of what worked best for me. But yeah, all this kind of last minute cramming that you need to do, this is what I'm going to be kind of talking about and how to do it best. You need to be actively revising. If you really don't know how to do this, then listen up. Instead of reading a textbook, highlighting it, hoping that it's going into your head, you need to kind of be actively trying to find a way to remember that information. My experience, I kind of did cram quite a lot into the few days before actual A-level because my brain just doesn't seem to remember things that I went over ages and ages ago. I kind of needed to go over as much as I could have before the exam. I've realised now I actually don't have that good of a memory, and that probably was a big contributor, because if you were to ask me a lot of stuff about the courses now, I've forgotten all of it. So I really did need to do it like the short period before the exam, unless it was stuff that I had gone over again and again and again, which is called active recall. Were things, especially in biology, like facts and stuff, that my teacher just went over again and again. We got tested on it, we got, you know, there's those things that you do just remember. I mean, if you've got time to start doing active recall, then I definitely recommend it. Just test yourself now and again, keep on doing it until it's solid in your memory. The days before the exam for me were hell because I just had to try and go through as much information as I could. Not gonna lie, I didn't take many breaks. I knew that I just wasn't gonna remember the stuff if I didn't go over it all, so I probably would have approached it in a different way if I was to go back, because I do wonder sometimes if I burnt myself out slightly too much, if that made me perform worse in the exam, which could have really been possible, to be honest. It's definitely important to find a right balance, which I would definitely try and sort out if I was doing all of this again. But anyway, so leading up to the exam, you have what, a few weeks, a few days left. You need to get yourself a whiteboard. Getting a whiteboard literally changed so much. It's such a good way to just quickly do things. You're not caring about what it looks like, you're writing it down and then you're wiping it off. Writing down fact, remembering it, writing it down again, drawing diagrams. These are all kind of active ways of revision. So the second one is to use your friends and family. For example, night before my history exam, I wrote loads of information on the whiteboard, then wandered down to the stairs to my mum with the whiteboard, and I tried to recite every single thing that was on that whiteboard. The things I forgot, went back upstairs, rubbed them out, rewrote them again, went down and made sure that I remembered them until I remembered it all. And FaceTime your friends as well. I remember I FaceTimed Caitlin for like the history exams. We went through some Quizlets together, testing each other, which is also such a good active way because just hearing the information out loud really helps. The third one is to speak the information out loud. It might sound stupid, but I found it so helpful to just speak the information out loud like I was teaching it to somebody. I did this for GCSEs and I did it for A-level as well. Record videos of it. I have loads of little videos on my MacBook of just like me reciting history facts. One, you know, you're alone in your room, nobody's judging, and the best thing you can do as well is to do it once in the day, like early on in the day, and then do it at night again to make sure that you've remembered. Another huge tip of mine is to use past papers. If you aren't using past papers, get on it right now. Remember to look it up for your exam board though, aka Edexcel. Even history, remember looking at papers for history, because you just get an idea of kind of the arguments that they want you to make. Quite useful sometimes to see the facts that they put in it and to see what they argue for. Hopefully that applies for most subjects. GCSEs do the exact same thing as well. Look at past papers. I just can't tell you how useful it was. It depends how long you've got before A-levels, but summarising your notes on your laptop. I did this like weeks before the exam. Summarised all of the specification on my laptop for history, bullet points in kind of each topic. If you've got time to do that, I definitely recommend doing that. Pick out the most important information and then going over this at the time. It will be so much more concise and you'll be able to just hopefully remember it more. Another big tip, days before the exam and you're struggling to remember information, make some kind of association or mnemonic for this fact or bit of information. I did that with so much stuff. You basically associate letters with different words. And for biology, this was really good. Try and make them personal to you. Make them a bit quirky, make them a bit funny, because you'll remember it in that way. For example, biology, a teacher always said PMAT, which was prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. You'll have done that in GCSE and A-level biology. I will have had so many that that I just did that. For planning essays for history is so good, even if that essay doesn't come up, because you will remember the points for the one that you planned for, and sometimes you can weave your way, slightly changing it, but basically using the same point in another essay. There's another great tip. Speak it out loud over and over again. Like I did it to myself, I did it to my friends, I did it to my family. They're probably the main things I did leading up to the exam. But if you have any other questions, definitely leave them down below. I'm now going to be moving on to answering your questions. Somebody said how to revise effectively when you feel like there's too much to get done. You just have to shift your mindset and not think about how much stuff you have to get done. Just try and make yourself focus on getting as much as you can done. You have to do it and do as much as you can. It's a very hard one for me to explain, and I've probably not said that very well. Before you start, take a deep breath. Focus on what you're doing. Take away your thoughts about thinking about how much there is to do after this, and just get through it. And I know it's easier said than done, but I've been through it. It was difficult. I mean, for me, I always knew that if I wasn't focused and if I didn't do anything, then I just wouldn't learn the information in time. I just had to do as much as I could do in the short time that I had. You just have to relax, breathe, get a step at a time. Don't try and rush through every single thing super quickly, because it's just not worth it if you're not remembering anything of it. Somebody said to talk about the night/morning of the exam. For me, I don't like talking about it because my experience was really was stressful. I stayed up way too late doing stuff because I literally told myself I'm not going to bed until I've been through all of this information, which works, but not the night before the exam. And I genuinely do think it had like an impact on some of my grades because I was stupid and did that, so do not do that. I literally woke up so early feeling really ill, still thinking about the facts from history and the facts from biology that I needed to cover in the morning before the exam. I did feel like really ill before a couple of exams. It was really bad, and that's just me being very honest in my experience, and I do not recommend you guys to do this in any way, shape or form. Little steps at a time is all you need to do. You need to have a relax before the exam, go to bed at a good time. Ideal night, morning. What you want to be doing is you want to have gone over as much information the few days before the night before of the exam. The night before the exam, the evening, to be going over information that you slightly need more coverage on, and then just have an early night, and just before bed, you know, have a shower, relax, and then the morning of, wake up at a sensible time. I'll go over small bits of information that you just want to cover. You might have them written down on a piece of paper. Go over some essay plans before you go into the exam. Just deep breaths, go into it thinking it's only a couple of hours. Once this is over, it's over. I can walk out there and breathe. The stress only lasts for a small amount of time, and you can get through it. You really can. I do hate how exams make you feel. Somebody's asked how to not feel guilty for not studying. It is quite hard because you're feeling like, on my phone right now, this isn't good, you know, I've got an A-level coming up, I need to revise right now. Solidly working for so many hours is just not good for you. You will get burnt out. You need those little rests in between to even function normally. Take a coffee break and relax, because if you don't, you will really just end up not the best version of yourself. You've got this. Someone said, is making flashcards useful or a waste of time? Definitely in these weeks before the exams now, I'd say it's a waste of time. Physical flashcards, waste of time, but if it's on Quizlet or something, say stick to more electronic. It's just very time consuming making flashcards. I didn't even end up using half of the ones that I made. They're weeks and weeks and weeks before the exams. I think there's so many other better ways of working. For example, if you have this whiteboard, write the information on that, recite it. The things you don't remember, just write them on a piece of paper, and then just go over that piece of paper until you remember the things on that. And if you've made flashcards, then use them, because it's such a good active recall way of doing it if you already have them made. But I'd say if you've got a couple of weeks before the exam, do not bother. So someone said how to stay motivated and not procrastinate. In terms of staying motivated, romanticize studying. Honestly, it helped me so much. Even if you're not a YouTuber, it can sometimes be so useful just to record yourself doing it anyway. It gets you off your phone. It forces you to do something. Also, the app Flora, it's a study app which allows you to grow plants, and it keeps you off your phone. I spent hours and hours on that during A-levels. I let all you guys be able to join me, and we all studied together, which was so good. In terms of motivation, I knew that if I didn't study, I was not gonna get the grades. In order for me to do that, I had to study, and if I knew if I didn't go over the information, you know, there is no way that it's just gonna appear from nowhere in my mind. That idea of like not doing anything sort of made me want to study more. The mindset of knowing that if you don't do this, personally wouldn't have got where I wanted to be if I didn't do anything. Said, how do you balance time between subjects? Brackets, I've finished art now, so only biology and chemistry. Art took up so much of my time, which did really stress me out because I was like, oh my god, I'm not revising any of my other subjects. What am I going to do? And she's finished art. Now that you only have 2 subjects, and I know everybody else will have 3 and 4, balancing them is hard, but I feel like if you're struggling in one more, focus your attention more on that. If you're thriving in one, then obviously that will need less attention. However, if you're about the same level in each of them, you're just going to have to divide your time equally and do it. You know, spend one day doing this, or spend one day doing that, or spend half a day doing that, spend half a day doing that. You know, you've still got time to make like a plan of what you want to study. So I think there were some days where I said, I haven't been over the nervous system, so I need to go over that for biology, and I just would have done that day and covered that and just made little plans. Nothing really serious, unless you need a strict structure to stick to, which a lot of you might. Definitely make a plan. Someone says like, how many hours do you study? And I, leading up to the exam, I did study very, very solidly. Like, it does differ from each person, so I can't tell you how many hours you should study, because you know, some people can do these like hours and hours of sessions and some people just cannot. So it really just depends on your ability to, you know, stay focused and that. Try different things out. If you think you can go for 2 hours, do it for 2 hours and take a little break. If not, then just do it in half-an-hour periods and then take a little break. You know, it's different for everyone. There's a lot about biology here. Biggest tips: past paper questions and past paper mark schemes. Go through every single one. Me, like, I revised so much thinking about it, of just going through past papers, and you kind of realize what bits, what topics you need to go over more. Go back to the spec, look over that, remind myself of it. So it was kind of like, what I don't know, and then go over what it was. Okay, yeah, so I could talk about this for absolutely days, but if you take anything from this, it's just to try your absolute hardest, try your best, and take breaks. Something that I really regret not doing enough. You may not think your body needs them, but it does. It really does. Go on a walk, watch a Netflix show, take a chill bath. You know, there's loads of things that you can just do to absolutely relax yourself, which is what I discovered after the exams were finished. And just, I wish you the absolute best of luck. It is one of the toughest times, but I got through it and you can get through it too. Do your absolute best. That's all you can ask from yourself. I cannot tell you how much I sympathise with you all, because it was a tough time. Please, if it's the night before and you're stressed out, just message me, okay? Comment on this video. I just know how stressed you can get, so please just message me. Do the absolute best of luck. You've still got time, okay? Make sure to subscribe down below if you need any other advice. There are more advice videos coming. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. I know it's not the nicest topic for some people, but hopefully some of that was useful to you, and I will see you in my next video. So best of luck, love you all, bye.